I want every one of you watching to picture this. I'm in school right now, and I just walk into the assembly, and I'm standing there and I'm listening to the teacher speaking, and he says, "Okay, today we're going to be deciding subjects that you're going to use to apply for university." I'm sitting there thinking to myself because at this stage I was pretty confused because I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, do I really need this university? Because I'm already developing and building a business, and that's exactly what I want to use to save the world and to solve the problems that I want to solve in the world. Do I really need a university? That was what I was thinking to myself. I wasn't even thinking to myself, I wasn't really thinking to myself in that way. I was thinking to myself in a more, I don't need it. I already have what I'm doing. I'm set. I know what I'm doing. Right. And because of this incident, what they were saying in this assembly, I started to doubt that idea. I started thinking, what if I might actually need this university? And just to clarify, it wasn't that I was a bad student. My grades were pretty top tier. Top tier is a bit much, but my grades were good, right? They were pretty good. They were very good. Consistent A's and stuff like that. But just that alignment, that connection between the school and university route and this route I don't even know much about, but eventually leads to me creating big things that help others. And I was just finding it difficult to connect those things. And because of that, I even started thinking about dropping out. I seriously did. And because what's the point of continuously going and because what's the point of continuously going through the education route? That's what I asked myself. What's the point of continuously going on the education route when I can try to build a business and use that to help others? But what changed in my mindset and what I found was that the truth was my thinking was quite biased in a sense. But on one fateful day, I was sitting down and I rested my back onto this chair and I opened a book. And that book was Dokudo. Dokudo was a book written by Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai from Japan. Now, the second precept he wrote was, in all things, have no preferences. I started to think about it and think about it to my, and started to use that precept to judge my perspective on university. Because once I thought about it hard enough, realized that I'm having a preference to not going to university because I'm thinking that that is what's going to help me achieve my mission. But and perhaps what I need to do is, so then I thought to myself, okay, right now going to university isn't what I'm planning on. It's not even what I want. But what would it look like if I had no preferences? So then I stepped back from everything and I saw it from a more distant point of view. And it was only when I was able to take that distance view that I started to see the value in university. Well, obviously, it was only when I could take that distance point of view that I started to see the value, that I started to catch the things I was missing. Firstly, was the emotional aspect. When I thought of university, I'd have feel this, oh, I don't want to go back to school, that kind of thing. But like, it wasn't written in laziness, but just like, that, how do I describe it? It's like when something doesn't connect with what you want, there's this opposition you have to it, right? But then I took the preference out and I removed that emotion. I just looked at it objectively, like, okay, what could I be missing that everybody that I know is telling me to go to university and telling me to pursue this? What could I be missing that everybody else can see? I started thinking about it. And what I saw was that if I want to help the world with science and technology, then I need to understand the basics at least. You can't speak to top tier scientists without having actually gone and gotten at least a basic degree in a scientific thing. You're using secondary school math to talk to one of to the best minds in the world. When I caught that, the logic just didn't fit. Like, okay, this may not work the way I'm thinking about it. If there's a takeaway from from my experience now, is just what I've learned is that when you face with this sort of like decision and there's this strong opposition, from now on, I'm just going to step back and think about it from the precept of Dokudo by Miyamoto Musashi. Have no preferences. And so without the preference, maybe then I'll be able to see the problem more objectively and clearly.